Hello, and welcome to another episode of 007 Gold. Thunderball, what can I say about it? I absolutely adore this film. I always have, and I always will, I'm sure. But why Thunderball? Why is that my favourite Bond film? Well, there are many reasons for this. Firstly, I think it's Connery's best performance in a Bond film. I think he's absolutely fantastic all the way through. He's still enjoying the role. He really excels in it, and I just think he's tremendous. I think it's his best performance as Bond. That's just my opinion, as everything in this video will be. Just my opinion. So, apart from that, it's just a feel-good movie. It's a lot of people on other Bond channels have described it as the vacation movie or the travelogue movie, and I can see why. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at and very summery. So the other thing about it for me is the music. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I know that's a word I use a lot because I get so enthusiastic about Bond movies. So originally I had the 12-inch vinyl album, which had a lot missing from it. And apparently the reason was that John Barry had only really recorded around about 2/3 by the time the record company wanted the album out for Christmas, because filming started on Thunderball in February 1965, which strangely enough is the month and year that I was born. But he couldn't get the music done before they wanted the cinema release to go ahead in December 1965. That's how quick they could make a Bond film in those days. So anyway, there was a lot missing. Then the normal album went to CD, which I bought as well, which was okay, but pretty unremarkable. And then we had this one, which basically is the expanded score. This was the remastered score, which had extra tracks in, but they were all linked together, you know. You'd got prime example. Track 13 of previously unreleased tracks was Gun Barrel, Traction Table, Chasing the Plane and Car Chase, all as one track. So that was good, you know. I mean, we had several of those tracks linked together, which were great and fantastic to hear for the first time on CD. But I acquired this only last month, which is absolutely superb. This is the 2-disc set from La La Land Records, limited edition. And basically it runs all of the music in order of the movie. So when you're playing in the background, disc 1 and well into disc 2 are basically just, you know, as if you have the movie in the background, music only. And it's absolutely superb. I love it. The additional music with it as well is incredible. We have Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang performed by Dionne Warwick, Alternative Bond meets Domino, Alternative Street Chase, Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang alternate instrumental, Do You Fly Here Often, which is the part where he's with Fiona Volpe in her blue Mustang car, the one that got away, which is from the Shark Tank scene with Bond underwater in the Shark Tank, and Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang performed by Shirley Bassey. Absolutely amazing. As well as all that, you get the original soundtrack album anyway, if you were fond of that version. So that's on there as well. It's just absolutely superb and my favourite Bond soundtrack. So La La Land Records doing an absolutely amazing job. Other than that, I don't have a massive amount of memorabilia from Thunderball. There's not a lot of stuff that's... I mean, you can get the rebreather and stuff, but it's really quite expensive. And I'm on a very limited budget. But I do have this, which is original and came out at the time, which is the Thunderball film brochure, also incorporating stills and information from Dr. No, From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. So I do enjoy that. I love that very much. So, right, looking at the movie. Cinematically, it is absolutely amazing, and as I said earlier, very summery. It's just amazing. The artwork for this movie as well is just fantastic. It really does look sumptuous. It's a luxuriant looking film. It really is. I'm from Newcastle, England, which tends to be pretty much a quite cold and often wet place. So when I saw this as a kid in 1971, these wonderful scenes of these foreign places like Nassau and the Bahamas, and that, with a wonderful weather, the crystal blue seas and sandy beaches, and just everybody dressed more relaxed in short sleeve clothing and shorts and stuff. It just looked so exotic and wonderfully fun, a million miles away from walking outside into the streets of Newcastle city centre, where it's normally lashing down with rain or sleet or snow or something. We do get an odd summer, but not very often. Although, I've got to say, it's May 6th today, and it is sunny, but it's still cold. So, it's not very warm. Anyway, back to the film. I digress. Anyway, I think the villains are good. Fiona Volpe is one of my favourite all-time Bond villains. I think she's absolutely fantastic. And Domino, a great leading lady. I think Claudine Auger is fantastic. By the way, it's Luciana Pellucci who played Fiona Volpe. Largo, a lot of people say that the villain Emilio Largo is not the strongest Bond villain. I can understand that. I can see what they're saying. But I think Adolfo Celli does a good enough performance. I think he's menacing enough to be interesting, and I also love underwater stuff. I've always loved underwater filming from being a little kid, and there's a lot of that in here. A lot of people say there is an old saying about Thunderball amongst a lot of people in the Bond fraternity that it's absolutely fine when it's above water. But it slows too much when you get to the underwater scenes. Personally, I don't find that. I absolutely love all of the underwater scenes, especially with the Vulcan underwater. And this Domino riding, along back holding onto a turtle, that's sea turtle. That's absolutely, it's just iconic. It's awesome. Other highlights, obviously, we'll see the Aston Martin again briefly, but a few times in the movie it pops up. And there's the Thunderball famous jetpack as well, which I think is absolutely great. So yes, all in all, it's just, I can't say this enough. It's always been my number one Bond movie, and the reason is there absolutely isn't anything I dislike. Although I will say, there's one part of it that is really badly done, and that, as most people notice, is the fight at the end in the Disco Volante. The rear projection of super fast speeded up footage as if they're going to crash into rocks and then fly by the rocks and stuff like that is really poor. There's a few bits of speeded up fighting as well, which nowadays, at the time, it was just the way movies were made, and it didn't make a great deal of difference. But nowadays, it's quite noticeable, and I think that lets the end of the movie down a little bit. The back projection stuff. You never know. I mean, I'm not one for changing movies. I agree they should be left the way they're supposed to be. However, if there was an alternate version came out on disc 2, which was digitally enhanced and had that kind of back projection stuff corrected, I'd be all for it. I've got to be honest. I think it's great. But yeah. So that's basically it for Thunderball. I won't waffle on about it any longer because I could talk forever. But I'm trying to keep these videos short and as interesting as possible. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you like and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much. Cheers.